Hello and welcome to Gathering Momentum for Your Life. I'm Christine Casten, and this is a weekly devotional where I just share different things on my heart with you. Hopefully, you find it encouraging. Would love for you to post. I used to do these live, and every so often I'll be able to do a live event again. But for now, I'm kind of in a time frame where I need to pre-record them. So this is a recording, but I am checking the responses and want to respond to you. So I hope that you will leave comments because there's more conversation that can be generated when you comment. If you comment based on some of the things that are shared, then maybe we can have a discussion back and forth about it, and it can be something that all of us can join in and enjoy. So encourage you to post. Also, one of the things that is always the big prayer for anyone that does any type of especially a weekly video log or devotional or any type of thing that's consistent is just thinking about content and what would be encouraging to you, what would be things that maybe either you have on your heart that you're interested in, or that you don't even realize is on your heart and you would like to know more about it. So if you would do me a favor and just post some things that you're interested in, topics of conversation that you would love to discuss. And if it's in my wheelhouse, I'll be happy to share it. If it's not in my wheelhouse, then I'm not going to embrace it because I really want to operate based on the flow that God gives me and the areas of passion that I have. I don't want to be, a jack of all trades, so to speak. I want to be able to focus in and hone in on the things where I've passionately pursued His heart, so that I'm speaking from a place of experience and hopefully revelation that He's given me in that wisdom, but not just trying to, have something for the sake of having something. So one of the things that is on my heart that is passionate, an area of passion for me, has to do with the area of prayer. Now, brief testimony. I did not ever see myself as an intercessor, and part of that is because my view of an intercessor was event focused. I'm going to go pray for someone in this time frame, and this is my block, and I'm doing this, and I understand that that's not a problem. It's just not how I saw what intercession looked like to me. And then the other thing was that it always seemed to be that people who were intercessors were burdened and weren't happy. And so I kind of tend to look on the joyous side of things and look for the possibilities and finding the place where God's heart is delighted. And it just didn't seem to come across very often that people around me, now it was just my experience, but people around me just didn't seem to find the joy or the power in intercession. In addition to that, I also have found that people have had a struggle with prayer, sometimes because they don't feel like God listens, they feel like He's distant, they don't feel like their prayers were answered. And so often in that, I've found that our expectations aren't always what God desires or knows is best. And so there can be a disconnect. I'm praying for this thing to happen and I want it to happen this way. And God, you need to perform in the way I'm expecting you to perform. So if I pray like this, then you're going to answer in the way I want you to. And that's just not the way it works. As much as it would be nice to say, oh, I can determine what happens in that way, unless we're praying with God's heart in the direction of His desires, then we probably will not have our expectations met because we don't have the view, we don't have the wisdom, we don't have the understanding in the way that He sees things. He knows the end from the beginning. He knows what needs to be put in place, and He chooses to open a space for us and invite us into partnership through that prayer. So prayer is not just about making things happen. And actually, that's not the way it actually is at all. But it's really about an alignment and an attuning to God's heart. and praying through what his passion is for that situation. And as we do that, as we start to see through God's eyes, if you will, and through his heart toward that situation, and we align in prayer, there's something really powerful that happens in that point of convergence. There's something that happens when we gather together in this place, and it builds momentum, not only in our relationship with God, but it builds momentum in the prayer. And it builds momentum in what we're seeing happen and the authority that we have to speak things out. Now, some of prayer is countering what the enemy is doing or wanting to do in a situation. It's coming alongside uh, people in that moment, whether directly or indirectly, to pray into that situation for God's best possible to come to pass. It's also um, a training place, a place where we train in in what it is to be in authority with God, to be in his authority as a son or daughter of God, and in a place of maturity where we're both relying on him, but also carrying out into the atmosphere what his heart is. And there's something when you're bringing heaven to earth in prayer, when you're bringing heaven to earth through intercession, there are powerful things that get released in those places and in those moments. And there is a place where you can feel the presence of God in that space. It's something that can't be described very well, because the presence of God is this weighty, there's a shift in the atmosphere. You feel it. You feel this change that happens in the process of the prayer. And it's not an emotional, oh, I revved myself up and now this is going to happen. It's a true something shifted, something changed, something happened that that aligned me with him, but also aligned that situation with him and his heart. Um, Sometimes it's a little bit challenging to explain the power of prayer to people who really don't see prayer as a powerful thing, because they tend to mark it off as coincidence. Oh, that's just coincidence. Oh, yeah, that happened, but it was going to happen anyway. But I've really seen shifts happen that weren't the trend, that weren't the way things were going, and there was such a radical change, shift, mindset, um, altering moment in time that I know prayer works. Um, and I know that it's powerful and that it's true. I wrote a post on November 6th that just started off and said, I believe in the power of prayer. God answers prayers that come from the depths of my being. He also answers the heart cries, whispers in my spirit that I have no idea how to put into words, because he allows those things to be brought forward as my heart is engaged with him. A lot of times he will give me the words, or he'll give me the understanding of what it is that he's trying to put on my heart and bring forward and bring out. And there's clarity that comes in prayer that I haven't always had about a situation or a thing. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that post on some more of these videos, of these devotionals, because I really feel that one of the things that the enemy has done is disempower our understanding of the power of prayer and the power of intercession. And he's made it seem like a check the box kind of thing, or something that isn't effective. And it's just, why do it? Because he understands that with prayer, there's an intimacy with God that he wants to, at all times, destroy. His whole goal is to separate us from God, to separate us from relationship with Him. But in prayer, we re engage with that relationship. And that's when amazing, powerful things happen. So I'm going to leave you with this for right now because we're kind of hitting up on time, and I try to keep these a little bit shorter. But I want you to know that if you feel that prayer has been disempowered in your life, what the enemy is really trying to do is to insert himself between you and your relationship with God. And I don't know about you, but the fighter comes out in me, the warrior comes out and says, no, not on my watch. I'm not going to let him have that space. I'm not going to let him wedge himself between me and my God. And so I encourage you to make that same declaration that you're not going to allow the enemy to disempower prayer in your life and to put himself as a wedge between you and the Lord. So just encourage you this week to pray into that connection, to pray into your connection with God, to pray into that intimate relationship you can have with Him, and to ask Him to open your heart to what the power of prayer really is, what it really means. Remind yourself of the times when you prayed and you saw things happen. And I can pretty much guarantee it'll be more than one if you've been in prayer for any length of time in your life. And I just want to encourage you to really press into that. The next week we're going to talk about some other things regarding prayer, but I just want to encourage you in that. I hope that you have an amazing day, an amazing week. Re-engage with prayer, reconnect with God. And if you've already been doing that, fantastic, go deeper. Just press in some more. Ask the Lord to open your heart to a deeper place of intercession and the power of intercession and what that looks like. And ask Him how you can see heaven brought to earth through prayer. Just have Him open your heart to that, and I think that you will find some amazing, wonderful stories that I would love to hear. So post your thoughts. Would love to see your comments and be able to respond to them. I look forward to talking to you guys next week, and that is on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock Eastern time. And so I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.